Mark. So today I'm going to be talking about how passive income allowed me to go from a normal teen working a 9-to-5 job to becoming a millionaire in my 20s.
In 1985, an ambitious 16-year-old Mark Tilbury decided to drop out of school and embark on a journey to become financially free. Like many of us, success did not come easy for Mark. His boss hated him. His business idea was stolen by a close friend. He almost lost all his fortune, and he had to deal with several other setbacks that I will get into in this video. Despite these challenges, Mr. Tilbury set off to become a millionaire in his 20s, and today he is worth over $2.5 million. In this video, I want to look deeper into who he really is. Does he run legitimate businesses? Is he truly a passive income guru with a wealth of experience? Well, we will find out. How does Mark Tilbury really make his millions? To cut to the chase, Mark made his first millions in his 20s selling radio-controlled model airplanes, which he has successfully run for over 30 years and counting. Now, you might be wondering, how did he start the business? Where did he get capital? And how was he able to run a successful business at 20? To answer these questions, we will take a thrilling trip down memory lane to meet young Mark Tilbury. Before amassing 7.2 million TikTok followers and 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube, Mark Tilbury has been grinding hard on the low since the 80s. The tall, ginger-haired and broke Mark Tilbury left school in 1985 to chase his dreams of being financially free. Little did he know he would be rolling in millions in the coming years. Even as a teenager, Mark has always had that entrepreneurial spirit. In high school, he sold candy and cans of soda to other kids on the playground. He did not stop there. On the weekends, he'd go fishing at a nearby lake and sell his catch to neighbors around the block. He would go from door to door, knocking to persuade older folks to buy some mackerel from him. To young Mark, he was only trying to make some extra bucks. But the confidence and sales skills he acquired selling candy and fish at a young age played a huge role in his success later in life. After leaving school, Mr. Mark chose to be an apprentice at a carpentry and joinery firm. He worked hard, got good grades, and even bagged a few awards for his skills. After completing his apprenticeship, he was excited about working and climbing up the ladder of corporate success. But, like every other thing in life, things did not go as expected. Instead of using his time and skills to make fancy furniture, teenage Mark was doomed to spend his days making wooden waste bins for Walmarts. Mark knew he could not continue wasting his talent on waste bins, so he took a bold step to confront his boss and seek more challenging jobs. After having a depressing conversation with his boss, Mark made up his mind to quit. However, leaving the job ASAP wasn't the best option for him at the moment because he was struggling and did not have much to sustain him. The next choices he made changed his life forever. Mr. Tilbury understood he would not be successful just making furniture and earning a mediocre salary, so he picked up several side hustles to supplement his income, and that is how he started flipping cars. He would buy underpriced used vehicles and invest some money into fixing them. Then, he'd resell these vehicles at higher prices and take profits. Even as a youngster, Mark was really smart. He would usually pack the car he plans to sell in some posh estate and meet prospects. This helped him close deals almost every time. In addition to car flipping, Mr. Tilbury got a Saturday job working at a radio model shop. On Sundays, instead of having fun or taking some time to relax, Mark would spend his day teaching people how to fly remote-controlled helicopters. Working multiple side hustles helped Mark to move from having zero savings to having over £5,000 cooling off in his savings account. In today's currency, what he saved should be worth over £30,000 when we factor in inflation. which is pretty impressive for someone in their early 20s. While working at the radio controller model shop, his entrepreneurial spirit kicked in again. He identified ways the business could improve and the potential the model shop had to rake in big bucks. It was at this juncture that Mark Tilbury caught his first glimpse of financial freedom. Mr. Tilbury called his dream business Model World. Mark was very excited about his ideas, so he innocently shared all of his plans with his employer at the model shop. A few months later, he learned his greatest lessons ever. His friend stole his idea and opened a new model shop. Mark's vision was copied down to the smallest detail. He opened the business at the location Mark envisioned, used the same name he had in mind, and copied every detail Mark shared during their conversation. As you would expect, Mark Tilbury was devastated when he realized what had happened. He felt betrayed and depressed. Most people give up at this point and settle for less, but not Mark. Instead of quitting and burning the bridges between himself and his friend, he did the opposite. He kept working for the model shop and took his time to learn all he could about the business and how it runs. He spotted mistakes they were making and came up with better ways they could have run the business. By doing this, he was able to get contacts and build helpful connections that would come in handy later in life. One day, he heard his friend was considering selling Model World. It was great news for Mark, and he grabbed it by the bull's horns. He approached his friend and asked if he could buy the business from him. At this time, Mark was in his early 20s, earning a little bit of money, so there was no way he could raise the money himself. So, he went back to the drawing board and created the best business plan he could possibly think of at that time. Feeling optimistic, he took a bold step to visit a bank with his plan to get a loan to buy Model World. But things did not go as expected. His proposal was rejected by the bank manager and he left feeling depressed. Just when Mark was about to quit, he noticed there was another bank just a few walks away from the bank he had just visited. He stepped right in and requested an audience with the bank manager. He got to meet with the branch manager and his loan request was approved. However, the bank did not give him the entire sum he needed. He emptied his savings to complete the money, and that's how Mark Tilbury bought his first company in his early 20s and made millions as he ran the business successfully. Over the years, Model World has grown tremendously, pulling in millions of dollars in revenue yearly. Also, Mark has been intentional about expanding the business. He has also put structures in place to ensure Model World can run an autopilot when he's not there, to keep a close watch on things. Mark Tilbury's story is definitely worth emulating. He did not earn his millions in one lucky swing. Rather, he struggled and put in the work to ensure he reached his goal of financial freedom. He experienced several setbacks, but he did not let these challenges put him down. Instead, he worked harder than ever to actualize his dreams. At the turn of the century, his business was almost wiped out due to the advent of the internet and online stores. Mark could not afford to become complacent. He used his initiative and picked up the new trend quickly as he moved his business online as well. Also, he had enough foresight to expand his business into the B2B sphere in his niche. Today, his company is among the top 5 radio-controlled model brands in the UK. So, to answer the question I asked at the start of this video, from what we know, Mark Tilbury runs a legitimate business. Research also shows that he invests heavily in the stock market and real estate as well. Mark Tilbury's story is one of courage and resilience. He's yet another proof that you don't need to be born into a wealthy family or have connections to actualize your dream life. On the contrary, all you need is a good idea, some level of skill, and a good amount of grit to keep grinding, even when tough times come knocking. If you loved this video, Do ensure to smash the like and subscribe buttons to avoid missing out on other videos like this. Also, can you relate to the story of Mark Tilbury? Let us know in the comments below. Till next time, keep grinding.